And welcome back to Blake's Den. I am again working on Project Designer, my 1989 Austin Mini Designer Special Edition. And in this video, I'm going to get the rear shock absorbers installed. In the last video you saw I got the rear brakes fitted. Since then I've fitted a new grease cap and the little screw which holds everything in place, which is good. Today's job is to get the shock absorbers or the dampers installed. So I've got these ones, KYB units, sort of the budget, middle of the road kind of things. It's not a Mini Cooper S, it's not a race car. It'll be fine. I guess you could call these new old stock. I bought these about 8 or 9 years ago to go on my Mini Cooper MPI. Never got around to fitting them, so I might as well use them on here. They're going to be super simple to fit. You got a bolt. Well, it's not even a bolt. It's like a stud which is captive in the radius arm. Goes through the bottom here. Then at the top, it comes up through the wheel arch, and then you've got some nice fancy washers and sort of rubber donuts which go on top and hold that all in place. So let's make a start. First thing I want to do is snip off the sort of banding which goes around it. Ew, that's not snipping very well. Okay. There we are. And then the damper will expand. You can then compress it. You should be able to compress it by hand. You will need to compress it to make it fit. But yeah, nice sort of squidgy oil kind of sound. The ones which came off were actually seized, so I think they were long gone. So on the back of the suspension arm, you've got this captive stud. So I'm just going to put some copper slip grease on that, and then we need to get the shock absorber, damper, whatever you want to call it, on there, and that goes up. And then we need to compress it, which is very hard to do whilst holding the camera. And then this should then extend up, and then what we'll have to do, we'll have to jack the suspension up, and then we can guide that through the hole in the wheel arch there and fasten it on the other end. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the nylock nut on, which goes down there. So I think it's a 9/16 nylock nut. So I bought some new ones. So we'll get that on. Okay, that's beginning to go on, and we'll tighten that up. The suspension's at full droop at the moment, because it's got no weight on it whatsoever, and it's obviously not got the constraint of the shock absorber to constrain it vertically. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my bottle jack here, not my bottle jack, trolley jack even. I'm just going to jack this arm up until this starts going up into place. And then I can guide the top of the shock absorber through the hole. There we are, which is in the body, in the wheel arch. There we are, and I've pretty much run out of travel now. So what I'm going to do, I'll put a nut on the back to temporarily hold it. I'll get a block of wood to go under here so I can jack it up some more. So now, looking inside the boot, you can see the wheel arch. There's a new wheel arch that I installed. You can see the top of the shock absorber damper coming through. What you might not be able to see is you've got like a flat here to allow you to get some grips onto it, and you've got the threaded portion and an unthreaded portion. So there's an order which the bushes need to go on there. These will probably come back out again because, as you can see, I need to paint in here because it's pretty bad. The other side's not too bad, but this will need painting. I just want to get these on. Very easy just to undo them, take them back out again. But yeah, I just wanted to get the back end suspension finished and ticked off. The set I bought is slightly different to the mini parts diagram, where you've got a lower bushing and upper bushing and then the big washer. What basically I've got two bushings which are the same, and I've got two big washers, but obviously I only need one big washer. So not quite sure why that is really. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to put one bushing on facing down, then the other bushing facing up. Then we put on the big fat washer, and then we put on the nut, and we'll tighten that up. Now, when you tighten this up, obviously it will compress those, but it'll want to spin the inside of a shock absorber as well, which is why you've got the flat on the top to hold it. So I've started nipping that nut up now with the ratchet spanner. And that'll begin to compress the rubber bushings. And yeah, the inside of the shock absorber is not turning yet, so that's good. And I think that's about all I'm going to get really, because I think that's... Oh no, I can get a bit more. It tightened up, I thought I'd bottomed out the threads. Okay, so what's happening now, it is beginning to spin. So I'm just going to get some mole grips on there, just to stop it spinning. I've just got the mole grips on there. It really helps if you've got a ratchet spanner to do this. I'm just using a 14mm ratchet spanner. I think it's not 14mm, but it's... The Imperial is nearly a match to the metric. And that's getting quite tight now. So I think I'm going to leave it as that. And then I shall do the other side. The thing that's confused me is the fact you get two of these per shock absorber. I'm like, okay, do they go in here? But then they don't really feel like they fit in there, right? So I'm not quite sure, and I've checked some of the parts sort of suppliers, and yeah, they still supply them with two, but I don't really see the advantage of doing that when you've already got sort of the big cup in there. It doesn't go that way around. Does it go that way around? I don't really know. Maybe I'll try that way around on this side, and we'll see how it goes. So you're doing the passenger side, exactly the same process as the driver's side, except you've got a fuel tank in the way. But I haven't got a fuel tank in the way because that was removed about 3 years ago. But your fuel tank would be here. You can just undo the bolt, which holds the strap. Move it over a bit, reach in and do it that way. So right, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Well, I thought the other side would be as simple as the driver's side, but what I found was that still on the back of the radius arm, that is the inner bush from the old shock absorber. Somehow when I've pulled it off, the bush has stayed on and it's sort of delaminated from the rubber. So obviously when I put this on, wouldn't go on straight away. I'm like, oh yeah. So anyway, got some mole grips on there, managed to get that off, and now we should be able to reassemble. One thing I forgot to do on the other side as well is when I put the nut on the bottom, just put a washer behind it. I forgot to do that. I've swapped it now off camera. Right, let's get this on. And that's done now, both sides fully assembled. So yeah, happy with that. Really exciting times, because it means the next thing I can do is to put the Mini back on its wheels. I did have a couple of problems doing that side, trying to jack the car up. It was just lifting it all off the lift, so I've got this ratchet strap I've had on for some time, like a safety strap. I just nipped that up slightly, just to take the weight, and then I just basically sat in the boot as well, and that brought it down. So yeah, I could get that nipped up. Yeah, just a really short video this time round, but hopefully you found it interesting. I found it quite exciting because it means in the next video I can put 4 wheels on this car and it can come off its CJ Autos tilt and jack. Check out that video if you haven't already. And it can actually touch the floor for the first time in about 5 years, and it can probably go outside as well for the first time in about 6 years. So obviously nowhere near finished, but it enabled me to reposition this. The next bits I want to do are on the engine base. I want the engine at this end, so I'm going to spin it round, reorganise my garage a bit, have it tidy up. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked that video. If you did like it, press that like button below. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's free to subscribe, and you'll be notified of all the latest videos. And if you got any comments, post them below as well. I respond to all of my comments. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.